Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series. Look who is on the screen. Yes, we have an extraordinary guest coming in from Nevada, from his beautiful ranch. He raises horses as well. He's a horse whisperer and so much more. We're talking about OBBA BABATUNDÉ. He is an extraordinary actor, producer, director, writer, yes, as well as dancer, but he's also a phenomenal individual, beloved by many, not just for his many roles on film and television and stage, Broadway, and every area of life you can think of, but he's also a gifted person. He really cares about people. His talent is extraordinary. I mean, he's been in multiple films, like 33, I think, and counting, and multiple stage productions, including Broadway. We're going to talk about all of them. He's currently starring in 4 television series right now. And this is just all on a slow day. He loves life. He is a legend, and we're so excited to have him here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm your host, Jim Masters, and this is our entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series where we are truly bringing back the lost art of conversation. We're doing it with warmth, with levity, and our famous JMS levity as well. If you guys would like to comment while the show is live, and I see a bevy of comments already built up, which is extraordinary, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the channel you're watching right now that houses all these episodes. Some 740, almost 800 episodes that we have done of our entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series for all of you. If you're not having a good day, stick with us. We'll put a smile on your face with our entertainment and poignant conversations and so much more. If you'd like to, again, chat in the Jameis Levity chat room, you are welcome to do that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's a gift for our subscribers to Jim Masters TV. And don't forget to binge watch all the episodes as well. I was just having a phenomenal conversation with Abba, and he is extraordinary. Let me tell you just a little bit about the background. Now, we could spend literally an hour just detailing his incredible accomplishments. Emmy Award-winning actor, of course, The Bold and the Beautiful, Daytime Emmy, Tony nominated as well for the original Broadway production of Dreamgirls. He's an actor, producer, director, currently starring on CBS television's hit, the fabulous action drama SWAT, portraying Daniel Harrison Sr., a.k.a. Pops. Yes, a.k.a. Pops, of course, father of Hondo, portrayed by another great actor, Shamar Moore. He's also starring in the Netflix Dear White People and Amazon's final season of Goliath. He's also known as a horse whisperer, as I mentioned, recently inducted to the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum Hall of Fame. He will be featured on the upcoming release of Liza Minnelli Live in New York, 1979, a deluxe vinyl set of 2 LPs and an ultimate edition on 3 CDs as well. That is just the short list, folks. He's somebody who's been doing this ever since he was a kid. He has one of the most recognizable faces in the entire entertainment industry. 17 stage productions, several on Broadway, 33 films, 60 plus television series. Again, he loves every minute of it too. His career spans over 4 decades. He is a unique breed in today's industry as a triple threat, because he does it all. He's comfortable in the expression of various musical instruments as well. He once played the trumpet. He's a poet. He is self-taught with sign language. Yeah, did you know all those things? Absolutely. And not only musical instruments, as well as all forms of dance. Remember when he was dancing on the series Friends? Yes, he was on Friends as well. And that is just really the short list. He's got this wonderful friendship with Liza Minnelli that we're going to talk about as well. He was also in Dorothy Dandridge's American Beauty, which was really amazing. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. You know, you can go back in archives. You can see all of these incredible productions and shows and so much more. Amongst the many awards, and again, they're numerous, is the Daytime Emmy Award as well for The Bold and the Beautiful. His Emmy-nominated performance in the HBO movie Miss Evers Boris. That's right. That was fantastic. That was his actual first Emmy nomination. And of course, the Tony Award as well in the original Broadway cast of Dreamgirls. The Best Actor Award win for the musical Sammy from the San Diego Critics Circle Awards, his NAACP Image Award as Best Actor for his role as Sarge in A Soldier's Play, the NAACP Trailblazer Award win, NAACP Image Award, nominated performance in the HBO movie, including Dorothy Dandridge, multiple Ovation Awards, the 2020 Icon Award, and 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards. And that's just all on a Thursday. He really is incredible. He's a joy. And we are so excited to have him here on the show. Just want to show you a couple of cool photos we have here. And there are many, many, many more. We have some beautiful stories to tell. He's all excited. We were just chatting prior to going live on the air. There he is on CBS in SWAT. He's having a ball with that. Look at that. There he is having a funny moment on set with Shamar, again, starring in Goliath as well. Also, Little Fires Everywhere. That's another production he's in. He's also a brilliant performer, singer, dancer, puts on all kinds of great shows. There's Dear White People, of course, another fabulous series. You remember him, of course, from The Bold and the Beautiful. Yep, absolutely. Dreamgirls. I mean, you can't go wrong there, huh? There's a great shot of some of the cast in Dreamgirls. He was even the TV anchorman in Silence of the Lambs. Do you remember that? See, it's jogging your memory. He was in The Notebook. He was the director on Friends. He was in ABC's Shondaland, the legal drama, Black Dynamite, Eddie and Martin, Life. I mean, this is just the short list. Of course, John Q, he played Sergeant Moody, Undercover Blues, even Timbuktu with Eartha Kitt. And of course, with Liza Minnelli. And that, again, is just the short list. We don't want to give it all away right now because there's so much more to share and so much more tales to tell here on the show. Thanks so very much again for joining us. It's always a blessing when you're here watching from all around the world. Now let's welcome our illustrious guest over to the show. He is the best. Here he is. Hey, my friend, welcome to the show.
How are you, Jim?
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, I told you that, the show has a lot of light, love, and levity, and I accidentally said it too fast about a year ago, and I said the word levity. There was a little something you wanted to kick the show off with to get the tone going of love, right?
How about this? What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing. That there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Not just for some, but for everyone.
Wow.
And that's what I think we all need. And I'm thrilled to be here with you and all of your magnificent guests. Thank you so much for inviting me. I sat and just was listening to all of those accolades and credits, and it's a joy to sit and to be reminded of the journey, because each one is a special and individual experience. And you mentioned the wonderful awards that I've received, but I got to share with you that I've always said, as overjoyed and respectful as I am of all those awards, the thing that I am the most grateful for is the reward. Yes. But the reward is how I've been able to hopefully affect a positive change in someone's life.
Oh, you have done that greatly, and you continue to do that, OBBA. One of the things that you said that I think is a beautiful way to look at life and what you do is you look at everything, all these different jobs and productions and gigs, all the work as pearls on a string, and you're continuing to string those pearls with every single experience. Tell us about that. That's a beautiful
Well,
way to look at life.
thank you so much for bringing that up. Exactly, and I share this with newcomers into the industry, and they say, "Wow, I want to do this," and I said, "Listen, a gig is a pearl, and that's great, but the string of pearls is what represents a career, and that's what I have intended and tried to do with every single opportunity." Every single opportunity, I identified it as a pearl. And I would give all of my heart and soul and energy into creating that pearl in its perfect sense. So that at the end of the run, that you got a string of pearls that all represent the journey of each one of those experiences. Because
Yes.
life for me is really an experience. And I believe we are here to experience the experience, giving it the best that we can possibly give it so that it is a repository of what it is that you've been given.
I have to tell you, what you just said is one of the many reasons why I've always admired not only your work, your sheer talent, but your outlook on life. You are one of the most enthusiastic and life loving, passionate entertainers out there, but also people. I mean, not every day is perfect in one's life, but you seem to be able to take a bite out of the apple and just really run with whatever life brings you and turn it into something positive that inspires others through your work, through your talent, through your art, but just in the being that you are. Where does that come from? Growing up in New York City, in Queens, was that atmosphere fostered early on by your parents, by your family?
Yes, it was. It was fostered by my family. Yes. But you know what I've identified? I always say it's not how long you've been living, but how long you've been paying attention. And that's why we got some young, brilliant people and sometimes some old fools. Because I've identified that life and that the moments, you see, it's the accumulation of the micro millisecond that makes the second. The accumulation of seconds that make minutes, accumulation of minutes that make hours, accumulation of
Yes.
hours that make days, accumulation of days that make weeks, accumulation of weeks that make months, and accumulation of months that makes years. But it all begins with that micro millisecond. So if you're having a challenging time, just know that's that second. It doesn't have to be the actual result of your entire existence unless you choose to hold on to that. You see, we have the ability. It's part of the miracle of who we are in our human experience to, you know what, let it go and embrace the next moment and learn, if you can, from what caused that experience. If it was good, hey, that was great. I'll repeat that. If it wasn't the best, then maybe I won't make that choice. Or how long do I hold on to that pain? How long do I hold on to that hurt? How long do I hold on to that disappointment? Is it really worth holding on to? You and I were talking before we came on the air, and I was talking about that we have divided, you know, things like time into past, present, and future. Okay? But watch this. What I'm about to say is in the future. While I'm saying it, it's in the present. Once I've said it, it's in the past. So, relative to how quickly I say it, look how closely associated past, present, and future are connected.
That's right.
So, you don't have to stay. Tomorrow has yet not happened. So, it's pristine, it's perfect. Yesterday is already gone. It won't be again unless you bring it and throw it into tomorrow for you. Let
That's
it
right.
go. And we prepare for tomorrow by how we live today. And I go back to the accumulation of seconds, micro millisecond into the second, and so forth and so on. And hopefully that's hopefully helpful to someone who's listening to us right now.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody's commenting and saying hello, and it's beautiful. Welcome everybody to the Jim Masters Show live. You early on, and still are really in many different ways. Poetry was very important early on for you in your life, right? Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Yes. Actually, I started to write poetry in my last year of high school. And then in my first year of college, I began to take those poems and expand them into one act plays because they were about life's experiences. So I expanded those. That was actually what gave me my introduction into theater.
Yes.
And that's how it continued to build because it was a means by which I was able to express what I was feeling through these poems and then expand them and turn them into experiences of others that involved those different characters that I may have been talking about in those poems.
Music also very big for you too. I think multi-instrumentalist, but the trumpet near and dear to your heart early on too, huh?
Yes, indeed. Actually, that was my first instrument. I picked up the trumpet and I loved it. But that steel is an unforgiving piece of metal.
Yes, it is.
and,
Yes, it is.
but it was interesting because I played trumpet, I played trombone, I played euphonium, I played E flat bass.
Yeah.
I played in a brass ensemble, and that was my first time to travel outside of Queens. Was traveling with the Manhattan Brass Ensemble. That
That's
gave
right.
me my ability in the music industry and to learn exactly. And I had a gentleman who really, I've had so many people that touched my life, but Artie Anderson was one of those individuals, and he was a trombone player, and he would talk to me about the music in a way that had me understand it not just from the technical aspect of how fast one could play, but he says, "What are you saying when
Yes.
you play that note?
Yes.
How are you have the ability to reach out, Oba, and
Hmm.
touch someone's life with that tone." Another gentleman who was when I was with Liza Minnelli, years and years and years later, named Victor Paz. I said, Victor, man, I'm getting back into playing my horn because in the show, at the beginning of the show with Liza in concert, I would be playing the trumpet as a member of the band. Then I would come out and be her loved co-star. But I said, Victor, man, I'm picking my horn up again. So tell me, Victor, what should I do? He said, he was from Panama. He said, I tell you, like my father told me, learn to play one note really good.
Yes.
Because if you can play one good, you can probably play two. A lot of guys play a lot of notes. Most of them are bad. And so that was a life lesson.
Yes.
Learn to play one note really well.
That's
And that,
amazing.
that, that can take you in any direction.
That is absolutely amazing. So when you were in New York and these experiences were happening, and then you had the opportunity to travel and get, beyond New York, what would you consider one of the key early pivotal door opening moments for you, Oba? What was something
That's
that you
a
look back at
great,
now and you're like, if
great
that didn't
question.
happen,
Great question. And it deserves a great answer. I mentioned earlier this lady's name, Liza Minnelli. I was in a Broadway show, Timbuktu, with Eartha Kitt, as you mentioned, William Marshall. Great cast. I mean, unbelievable, wonderful cast, directed by the great Jeffrey Holder. And Liza was doing a show, that was the name of the show, Timbuktu. And Liza was doing her show on Broadway at the same time, called The Act. Somehow she and her choreographer came to see Timbuktu.
mm,
And I was in a particular scene that happened to have the entire cast on stage.
wow.
And somehow I caught her eye and the eye of her choreographer. Well, there was a note that was put on the call board that said, call Liza. I didn't know any Liza. I thought they were just somebody was playing a joke. I threw the note in the trash. The next day, there was a note again. Oh, call Liza. I
Yes.
said, I said to the stage door guy, I said, hey Fred, who keeps putting? He goes, listen, do me a favor. Either call or don't call. Okay. I just get the messages. I write it on the board. I don't care if you call. I don't care if you don't call. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. So I call up the number. I said, hello. And they said, yes. I said, let me speak to Liza. And they said, who's calling? And I said, OBBA BABATUNDÉ.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, 1 minute. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a joke still.
Sure.
This female voice picks up the phone. She says, hello. I said, who is this?
Yeah.
She said, Liza. I said, Liza who? She said, after a pause, Minnelli. I said, hold on. Okay, now you're doing a show over at the Majestic, and I know that. So if this is really you, I'm going to come over in between shows, and I want to visit you. She says, okay. So, Jim, I went over. I went backstage, and I said, I'm here to see Liza Minnelli. And they said, oh, who's asking to see her? And I said, OBBA BABATUNDÉ. They said, hold on a second. They called back, and they said, OBBA BABATUNDÉ is here to see Liza. Somebody came out who happened to be the choreographer, and he took me back. And there she sat. And I said, with my mouth agape, it's really you. And she said, hi. She said, listen.
Hi.
she said, listen, my choreographer and I were at your show the other night, and we think you're wonderful. I'm looking for one individual. I'm getting ready to do a world tour, and I'm looking for one person. And we were wondering if you'd be willing to come and audition. And I said, yeah, sure. She said, okay, it's tomorrow. I said, okay. So I went to the Minskoff, which is the Minskoff Rehearsal Studios in New York.
Right.
I walked through the door, and there were about what appeared to be like 150 guys. I mean, there was not just 2 people.
No.
And I walked right to the front, and the choreographer began to start teaching the choreography. And baby, I was doing my thing. Okay. And they were cutting 10 at a time. Pow, 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 pow. It ended up, there were 4 of us left. And then they cut it down to 2. And then we had to go in to meet with Liza, which was in a separate room. And there sat the great Fred Ebb, composer extraordinaire and lyricist of so many shows. If you don't know who Fred Ebb is, please, ladies and gentlemen, check him out.
Yeah.
And John Kander, his partner, and amazing. And the choreographer came in, and we had to dance with Liza. So they taught us a different combination, and I'm focusing on her, and I'm moving my body in any possible way that I could that matched hers. Then we had to sing. And then they said, well, who wants to sing first? I said, well, this gentleman can sing first. And so I walked out of the room, he sang, and then I came in, and then I sang. And I'll never forget, I sang the song from The Wiz, If You Believe. And at the time, it was my audition piece. And I had all these hand gestures. If you believe, within your heart you'll know, no one can change the path that you must go. I had all these hand gestures. And Fred said, hold on, stop. He said, he says, you have a lovely voice. Put your hands behind your back and don't move and sing it again.
It's a New York thing. We do move our hands a lot.
Yeah.
We're expressive.
I put my hands behind my back and I sang, and I never sang the song better. And they said at that time, well, Fred said, I've made my choice. John said, oh, great. I've made my choice. And thusly, I went on to do the world tour with the great Liza Minnelli, and to specifically answer your question, that changed my life from that day to this.
Yes.
I am forever indebted and grateful for the joy that I experienced in being with this amazing lady, for the opportunity to be able to express my talent in a way that I may not have had the chance to do. I got a chance to meet a lot of people in that year and a half. I got a chance to do the Baryshnikov on Broadway television special with her.
That's right.
Meeting Baryshnikov. And it just, the relationship and friendship continues to this day.
Yes.
She's a dynamite human being, an amazing talent. And to answer your question specifically, that was the experience that opened the door for me in a way that really has afforded me all of the abilities that I have had and opportunities to this point.
That's incredible. And that started by being in Timbuktu with Eartha Kitt, which actually isn't too shabby either.
Exactly.
Wow,
Exactly.
what an incredible chain of events. And this is fantastic. We had to show this. Now, this is exciting, right? What's happening, what's developing, what's redeveloping with Liza and all of this excitement and buzz. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, that album is from 1979, recorded and now remastered uh, at Carnegie Hall. We and went into Carnegie Hall. At that point, her mother had the longest running show that had ever played Carnegie Hall,
That's
and we
right.
broke her mother's record. And so here it is now caught on a digital, both an LP and the CD, in which that moment is captured. And
Mm,
I mean, it. So when I got the call and said, "Hey, listen, we're putting this out," I mean, you could imagine the excitement. And so I'm
wow.
thrilled that it's out. And
Yeah.
please, to
Yes.
all of your wonderful audience members that are
Belovedies.
participating,
Yeah.
and please check it out. I think you'll.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. It's a brilliant show, and it
Yeah.
was one that and as I listened to it,
Yeah.
let me tell you what happened. I jumped up and the choreography started coming back to me, you know, and everything. It was like all of a sudden I was back on the stage with Liza again, and it was just a joy. So
Isn't that
I'm very,
incredible how
very
that happens? Wow. You know what I mean? It's like a deja vu. Really fantastic. So happy for you. And by the way, you've always been a sharp dresser too.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank
You
you
know who
very
you
much.
remind me of? And you've always reminded me of this person. And then I put it all together when I was doing my intensive research for having, we don't call these interviews, we call these conversations, like I was telling
Yeah,
you, like Dick Cavett and Carson and Regis and some of the legends, my working
yes,
in TV, paying homage, tipping the hat to them. And I said, he reminds me of this other legend in his spirit, in his energy, actor, vocalist, dancer, hands in everything. People gravitate to his energy. It's infectious. And it's actually somebody that is always been beloved to you and sort of like a mentor for you as well. And you could be his brother. We're talking, of course, about Sammy Davis Jr. Tell us
yes.
what he has meant to you in your life, because you
Well,
you are like a clone of him on many
well,
levels.
well, it, Mr. D, as I affectionately refer to him as. Um, I got the chance to meet him actually through Liza at we were opening to start our world tour, and he was going to be doing his world tour at the same time. So we would either proceed or follow one another into the different venues around the world for the next year and a half from 1978. And we were at Lake Tahoe at Harrods, and he was going to open the next night. And Liza came and said, "Oh, but Sam's in the room and he wants to meet you." And I said, "Well, I'd love to have him meet me after he's seen me work." She says, "Well, he's not feeling so well, so he's not going to see the show." And I said, "Okay." So I went into the room, and there he was getting something out of the cooler, and he turned around and he said, "Hey, man, how are you? Marvelous. Nice to meet you. Liza says that you are marvelous, and I believe that we'll get a chance to hang out a bit while we're on tour together." And I said, "Well, Mr. Davis," he says, "call me
That was
Sam."
spot on.
He said, "Call me Sam." And I said, "Well, I could never call you Sam." I said, "But thank you so much for your
Ah,
compliment." Well, we went on and I did the show. He ended up staying, Jim.
mm, wow.
And after he came back, and I hear him in the hallway, "Great show live. Marvelous, darling. Where's Oba's dressing room?" She says, "Down the hall." There's a knock on the door. I opened the door, and there he stood. And he looked at me and he says, "You, my man, are a bitch on wheels.
Mm.
A bitch on wheels." He came in, paid me a lot of nice compliments. And Jim, this is very emotional for me, but as I remember it, I looked at him and I said, "Mr. D, Sir, I want to thank you for coming in through the kitchen so I could come in through the front door. His eyes welled up with tears that ran down his face. He grabbed me and he hugged me. And he said, thank you for that. And I said, no, I'm sure you hear it a lot. And he said, I could never hear it enough. From that day forward, we became family.
Yeah.
And right up until his passing in 90, we were very close. And he kind of put his arm around me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just gave me the kind of love and support.
He saw something. I'm sure he saw elements of himself in you. He saw something there. He saw a spark, a ray of light that he didn't want to see extinguished. And I think that's a beautiful thing, you know?
I got a chance, as I know you know, but at the Old Globe, and they were kind enough to honor me with wonderful awards, to do the show Sammy,
Yes.
in which I portrayed him in this wonderful piece written and the composer Leslie Brickus, who Sammy actually introduced me to years before. And so to be able to get an opportunity to say through the performance, to thank you to Mr. D, is something I still hold dear to my heart. And a giant, never, and I adopted this, never too busy to say to someone who wanted to shake a hand, hi, thank you. And even if he was in a hurry, he would say, please forgive me, I'm rushing, they need me to be somewhere, but thank you for taking the time to want to say something kind to me. Exactly. And he told me, he said, Oba, the one place we never lie is on the boards, and that's the stage. He said, that's sacred ground. He said, so when we come on that stage, you must tell the truth. He said also, and it was also another gentleman that I knew, Mr. Lee Young, said, you can't be a liar off stage and then try to come on stage and tell the truth. So I try to make sure that I tell the truth every chance I get.
You know what you're doing through your work. And the reason why I can identify with it is because for some reason that I say is beyond me, but actually, if I really take a look and put the mirror on me, maybe it's not beyond me. Through your work, no matter what it is, whether it's behind the scenes, it's on stage, it's on set, you're ministering. You are ministering in a way that through entertainment, through the art, reaches people at a level that goes deeper than just the fabulous entertainment. I mean, you can get caught up and love the entertainment value, but you've got something going on that you've always had, and a ministerial right, because I've been told the same about me, that goes beyond and reaches deeper just by you doing you, just by you doing your thing, what comes naturally for you, which, you know, seems effortless to many, which takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and years put in and all of that. But in terms of the essence of who you are, it's a natural effervescence that flows out in a ministerial way that people notice and really deeply appreciate and are affected by. That's one of the things I think that is part of what you do, my friend.
Well, I thank you for that compliment. You know, it is my wish, hope, and prayer that if any light be seen from me, let it be God's light, and that it be a pure spirited light. And, you know, they say if you've been able to affect change in someone's life in your walk, then your living has not been in vain. And so if I've been able to do that, then good for me, man. My living has not been in vain. You know, I shared with you earlier that my mother told me once, There are two things you cannot do with a closed hand and a closed heart. You cannot give, nor can you receive. So open your hand and open your heart and watch what happens. And it
So
seemed to be working.
it is working. It is working, my friend. How did the dancing part of your repertoire come in? Were you dancing early on as a kid? Tell us about that. Were you the kid that was dancing around in the kitchen, hitting the pots and pans?
People always say that. I said when the doctor slapped me on the behind, I jumped up and said 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 8.
Yeah.
I think that that all of these gifts and talents they are one. I sing through my acting. I dance through my singing. I dance through my musical instruments. The impersonations, the whole 9 yards. It is all part of one. That is the part that lives inside of me, and so I give all of me. When I get an opportunity to be able to grace a stage, man, you're going to get everything OBBA's got. And I'm do the same thing whether I'm acting or just singing or dancing. If you look at that picture, you'll see there's Sammy right there in that picture. I always keep him on stage with me.
Oh, yes.
Yes. But that's the part of it. The dancing, I think, was a part. Now I did study dance. Because in New York, they had the greatest dance teachers, and I remember the first time there was a lady named Thelma Hill, bless her heart. She was a very patient woman, because when I went to her dance class, she says, "You have a lot of natural talent." She says,
Yes.
let me see you do your first position and plie. I did a deep knee bend. She said, "Darling, we got to do some work with you." So I studied dance with many of the greats. I had an opportunity to work with the great Bob Fosse and to learn his techniques. I worked with some of the greatest in the business, and I gleaned from what it was that they were willing to share with me. And I worked hard, and I turned a lot of ankles and had some sore knees and backs, but I'm telling you, if you say 5, 6, 7, 8 right now, OBBA might turn and do a double pirouette and jump into a split and do a backflip. It doesn't matter what it calls for. He's ready to go.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes.
I love
Indeed.
that. That's what he's like in the supermarket line too, folks.
That's exactly correct.
That's it.
And,
Yeah.
it's funny that you say that, because I did an episode of Cold Case, and my
Yes.
character, I played both the younger me and the older me, and it was teaching a young man who was worked at the store as a stocker. He would stock, and so they used my dance ability that I would go down that aisle, boom, put that box up on the shelf, then I got a chance, as you mentioned, on Friends with Joey, and that dance with jazz hands, and that dance I actually did. I choreographed that myself for the show. It was what I used as my audition piece. Yes, there he is. And they said, "That was great. Just do what you did in the audition." So that dance that you see, that me teaching Joey, OBBA choreographed that.
That is so cool. What was it like being on Friends with the cast and the gang? Because that was a great episode.
It was a joy. It was a joyful experience. You know what I mean? And to get an opportunity, that episode was directed by the actor, Robbie Benson. And so getting an opportunity to work with that cast and to dance and to express those talents, it was just a wonderful joy. And I'm so proud of it. And so many people have said, "Oh, you're the guy with jazz hands."
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Isn't that
Become
cool?
a moniker.
And you also had this wonderful opportunity to be involved
Oh,
with this on
yes,
HBO, Dorothy
yes,
Dandridge. Tell us
yes.
about this, Halle
Oh,
Berry
that
and
was,
company.
let me tell you, thank you so much for asking that, Jim, because here it was. I got a chance to work with an extremely brilliant cast. Halle Berry couldn't have been kinder, and we're still friends to this day. And the director, Martha Coolidge, a brilliant director, one who was able to bring that whole era and period together. Now, I also played one of the greatest dancers to ever put on a pair of tap shoes. I played Harold Nicholas of the famed Nicholas brothers. So it was Harold, Fayard were two. I had three autographs, and two of those autographs, one was Sammy's, and one was Harold, and one was Fayard.
Mm,
And so to get an opportunity to portray him in the full glory of his life and
incredible.
the brilliance of his talents, and that dance that you saw us do was
Yes.
probably the most difficult dancing I ever had to do, because we had to do, Fayard came in and we had to do actually the dance numbers that with their choreography. And man, I'm telling you, when you put those shoes on,
Mm,
you better be ready to let it fly. And so
yes.
I wanted to represent him in all of his glory and the
Mm,
joy that he has presented to the world and given so many people entertainment throughout the years. And again, I can't say enough kind things about the relationship that I had with the lady Halle Berry.
yes.
We got on so well. It was the greatest professional relationship on set, and I just loved it. Every minute of it. Every minute of it.
Absolutely. Definitely in your bliss and in your glory in that part. You know, uh, you were even, and I love this with my television background, you were the anchor man on in Silence of the Lambs too. This will
That's
bring back
right.
memories for folks.
That's right. Well, that goes
And
back
you
to
look very Anchorman there as well, of course.
well, I'll tell you a funny story, because we actually filmed it in an actual
Studio, TV studio.
studio,
Yeah.
and we were using the actual floor director that
Ah,
was for that station. And so when the anchors were coming in, they were like, "Hey, wait a minute, who's
yeah.
the new guy?
Who's the new
Who's the
guy?
new anchor?"
Who's
They
replaced
believed that
me?
was actually the anchor. But that was early on in the relationship of with the great Jonathan Demme.
Oh
While
yeah.
I was in Dreamgirls, Jonathan, I got a message that said Jonathan Demme wants to meet you. I went to his office and he said, "Hey, listen, he says, I love your work." He said, "I've got this movie that I'm doing." And he says, "I think you would be perfect. It's a character called the Face of Justice." And so I said, "This is Jonathan Demme." I said, "Mr. Demme, whatever you want." Absolutely. It began my relationship with him. We went from that wonderful production to the Silence of the Lambs, and all even giving me an opportunity to work with the great Meryl Streep in the it just then with I met Mr. Tom Hanks in Philadelphia because I was in Philadelphia. He then called
You
me to be
were.
in his directorial debut
You
of the movie
were
that he did,
amazing in
That Thing You
Philadelphia.
Do. So it opened me up to several. In that picture, Jason Robards, to
Mm,
be able to sit and work with the Mr. Robards. I mean, I've just been blessed. I've just been blessed, and Mary Steenburgen. Every opportunity that I've had, I've tried to give it my all. Denzel Washington was also. We have gone on to do several movies together after Philadelphia. So it's just it's a blessed journey.
Philadelphia, we saw actually in the movie theater when it came out, and it was really it still sits as one of those extraordinarily impactful and emotional movies and stories, and you and everybody that was in it spot on. I mean, the casting was brilliant. The acting was brilliant. What was it like being a part of such a groundbreaking film as Philadelphia? And I encourage folks to, rent the DVDs or whatever you have to do and watch it if you've never seen it. It's critically acclaimed.
Yes. It was a very, very impactful movie. And Tom Hanks was just brilliant, extraordinary. Antonio Banderas, extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Every single body. I mentioned Jason Robards. But it opened the door to having people be able to identify someone in their humanity, not by their illness. It gave Tom in his portrayal, made us see the human being, not just the illness. I lost many great friends in the 80s to the HIV, terrible disease.
Yeah.
And so to be a part of something which is going to go down in history as being one of the first to say, hey, listen, don't judge me by my illness. Identify my humanity. Please see me as a human being. Reach out, touch, and be touched by. It's a wonderful project. I'm so honored to have been a part of it. And again, as you mentioned, it's a ministry. It really is. And I was just honored that Jonathan felt that I was worthy of being a part of that cast.
Something else that's sort of a ministry is your love of, as a horse whisperer, of horses. And you're there actually on your ranch in Nevada, and then you'll be heading back to LA for shooting more of the incredible work that you're doing. But how did this love of everything equestrian start for you?
It's a wonderful, wonderful experience. My father was a horseman. And so as a very little kid, before we moved into Queens, we were in upstate New York. And he and his friends, they were what we identified as cowboys. And I was around those creatures, and I guess it connected to me in a particular way that I'll never forget, because what happened was I understood that this creature was pure of spirit. Can you imagine identifying to have an interaction with something that is pure spirit? Pure spirit.
Yes.
It doesn't have an ego. It doesn't have an ego. I've learned so much with dealing with horses that has helped me in a certain way to deal with people. And I recommend this. You see, horses can't be bribed into caring about you. My experience has taught me that the only way that you can earn, and I underscore the word earn, a horse's trust is in only one way: investment of time and consistency of behavior. See, you can give the horse a carrot and the horse follows you around. You say, oh, now it likes me. No, it likes the carrot. See, it doesn't attach any affinity as to where the dispenser of that comes from. But earning the trust through investment of time and consistency of behavior, we as humans could learn that same thing. Someone say, oh, you're the greatest person in the world. I love you. And you walk away and they go, they're not all of that. But you're not going to get that with the investment of time and consistency of behavior. That's what's going to teach you who someone really is. And so I have this experience. I have a connection with those creatures. And the reason I say horse whisperer, not trainer, is because I see that relationship as a partnership. See, I will never have the brawn that that horse has. And that horse will never have the brain that I have. But look what happens, Jim, when we put ourselves together. I now have the brawn that I could never have, and it has the brain that it could never have. And together, together we can accomplish things that we could not accomplish unto ourselves by ourselves. So it's a pure relationship, and it's a great relationship, and I honor it.
That's so beautiful. That is so cool. And you know, they've learned. I've interviewed a lot of folks who work with horses too in my professional life. Horses are so healing, aren't they? When people are
Yeah,
around, they can really sense when someone is down, someone is wounded, and they have these uncanny, intuitive healing ways about them, don't they?
absolutely. They say the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a human.
That's right. Unless you're standing behind it and it's angry. You know, then all bets are off, right? I mean,
Oh,
just, you know, pick where you stand wisely, and it shall respect you greatly.
that was beautiful.
You gotta laugh, right? You gotta laugh.
Yes,
It's
yes.
that's a beautiful thing, and that it's a balance to your life, isn't it? A beautiful
It is.
balance.
It is.
Um,
It
and
really is.
you
Actually, that was how I reconnected to them when I went out. I left New York and I went out to California to get involved more in film and television.
yeah,
And I said, well, I want to connect to something that has maybe something nothing to do with the industry. And so that
right.
calling of connecting back to those horses spoke to me.
Mm.
And for the last 27, 28 years, I've been doing the horse whisperer thing.
Mm. And involved with charitable groups too. This is the James
Yes.
Juniors Foundation charity, uh,
Yes.
which I think is really beautiful. Working with them as well, and
Yes.
this is a great shot. Where was this? We showed this
Oh,
earlier.
that was me. That was me portraying this character, Zorro. And
Ah,
and that horse is a stallion horse, and it was a unique thing because it's a Pasifino, and
mm-hmm.
Pasifinos are very seldom used in other methods and techniques and riding that other than what they use Pasifinos for. And so Martha Coolidge, the director who I shared with you from introducing Dorothy Dandridge, she's also a horse whisperer or a horse person. And
Mm-hmm.
and so she says, Oba, listen, I want to put this thing together. So she and I came together and we put together a show that was we performed it at the different shows at the Equestrian Center in Los Angeles, California, and
Oh,
we
that's cool.
showcased these using these horses. And I played Don de la Vega. By day he was Don de la Vega, and by night he was Zorro,
Yes.
the individual. And so, and I danced in that as well too, Jim,
Mm,
because the way we put it together, I voiced it. And it actually, if people want to see it, you can go online because you can find everything anywhere, and you can
yes.
look on Pasifino, Hollywood Pasifinos, either Martha Coolidge or Hollywood Pasifinos, OBBA Babatunde, and it'll come up and it'll show you the entire performance.
That is
Would be
so
as Don de
cool.
la Vega.
I love it. Something else that was a wonderful performance that you were involved in was this one on
Yes.
Broadway. Tell us about Dreamgirls and being a part of that. I mean,
Well, it,
so many incredible things you've had the opportunity. I was telling you before we went live on the air, one of the beautiful things I love about you is that every single thing that has come your way, you've really savored and maximized and really treated tenderly as a gift. And I think that's a
yes.
wonderful thing.
Well, it is an honor. Thank you for bringing up Dreamgirls, because to be a part, and when I say a part, remember, Dreamgirls, before it was Dreamgirls, it was called Tom Ion's Project Number 9. Dreamgirls was created in a workshop, and the 6 original principals, the women being Jennifer Holliday, Shirley Ralph, and Loretta Devine, the gentleman being Ben Harney, Clevant Derricks, myself, and Don Correa. Don Correa is who is married presently and was then and still is now to our Sandy Duncan, who created the role of
Peter Pan.
In Peter Pan.
Yes.
And so Don Correa was in the first workshop, and so that picture there is when we first received the announcement of our Tony nomination. So that's Michael Bennett in the center there,
yes,
who ultimately became the director of Dreamgirls. And but Tom Ian was the original director of the workshop, and Henry Krieger, the composer. And so we actually put that show together bit by bit. It revolutionized the American theater. So to be a part of something that revolutionizes theater now,
yes,
because it was the first time, somebody says, well, how did it do that? Well, it was the first time that all departments worked as one.
That's right.
Theron Munzer, Theone Aldrich, and Robin Wagner, set designer, costume designer, and lighting designer, all worked as one to create this powerful mechanical aspect of the way the show would be presented. It was the first time that set pieces were able to move on stage and turn 360 degrees without a human being's hands. So it was the beginning of automation, which is now commonplace in theater. So it to be a part of creating and being the earliest venues of this art form in that way is truly an honor and a pleasure. And I worked with some of the greatest people to ever grace a Broadway stage.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it was just from top to bottom, and it didn't matter where you sat, whether it was in the orchestra pit or whether it was with the crew who had to make sure those towers did not crash and crush us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those light towers. And the story that we were able to tell. Jennifer Holliday, when you heard her sing, and I'm telling you I'm not going, I can tell you right now that when she sang that, the first time she was reading off the page, and she did it exactly the way she did it in that production. And 8 times a week, she never cheated.
No.
When she would say, "You're gonna love me," and that palette would go upstage, Ben Harney and I would have to, that gasp that you heard was not something that was affectatious for theatrical purposes. It was a gasp for her life to sing that last note. And when that palette would go off stage and that tinsel curtain would come down, Ben Harney and I would come out, and she would be spent, and we would have to take her one arm and walk her up to the dressing room, because she had given every single thing to that audience. And that's why they were affected in the way they were affected. I'm so thrilled to have been a part of it. Every single one of those cast members, Clevant Derricks, Jennifer Holliday, as I mentioned, Ben Harney, Shirley Ralph, and Loretta Devine, and then later joined Debbie Burrell, who became the new girl. So it was really a powerful, powerful piece. I can't give enough credit and praise to the late Tom Ian and the still with us Henry Krieger for their aspect of putting together what gave us the ability to be able to present to the world population one of the greatest shows to ever grace a stage.
I second that emotion on every level. And did you realize, oftentimes when we're doing things early on, we don't realize the impact that it will make and how it stands the test of time, because we're immersed in doing the work. Did all of you have any inkling of not only the value, but also the monumental nature of what was being presented?
What you just said was stated perfectly. We were immersed in it. The characters were being built on us. We were giving everything that we had. We could not project that this was somehow going to be the monumental production that it ultimately turned out to be, and that it would provide so much entertainment and so much joy for so many people, right even till today.
Mm.
We didn't know that at the time. We just knew that we were going to give it every single thing we had. We were committed to a standard of excellence. And so we gave birth to something that's now identified as Dreamgirls.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You also, one of the first things that came along that provided the early Emmy, I believe, was Miss Evers, right? Wasn't it
Yes,
that?
with
Was
Sever's
that?
voice.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was such a beautiful, beautiful story.
oh.
Tell us about this.
You know, Miss Evers' voice, uh, my first primetime Emmy nomination,
Yes.
playing that gentleman. You know, it's a story. If those who have not had an opportunity to view it, please, please see it. It is very, very important part of our American history. You know, for 36 years, there was an experiment done on black men
Mm-hmm.
with untreated syphilis in the African American male, even though there was already a cure for it.
That's right.
Somehow somebody thought, well, scientifically, in order for us to identify that black American men are as the same as any other nationality, we have to do this test. It was horrific. It should have never happened. And we were able to tell this story in a way that gave those lives that were destroyed a sense of your living was not in vain, because it should never happen again. It should never happen again. It shouldn't have happened then. But if it took us being able to present the story through a theatrical presentation, then that's what it took. The great Lawrence Fishburne, the great Alfre Woodard, each one of the cast members, Craig Sheffer, Joe Morton, we had a cast that would not stop. And again, the great director, Joe Sargent, and the great Ozzie Davis. And we came together and we invested and gave it everything we had to tell this story, because we owed it to those men and women whose lives had been destroyed, who had been hurt, injured. I don't understand it to this day how someone could do that.
Right.
But it was done. And you see, the more you know about your past, even if it's an ugly past, you are often given the opportunity to correct it for the future,
Mm-hmm.
not to do it again. So that is also the power of the arts. The power of the arts to be able to tell stories that deserve to be told, that tell you what has happened so that you don't repeat the ugly. So
So
I'm
beautifully
honored.
said. Yeah.
It's honestly one of the crowning glories of my career to have been a part of that. I got an opportunity to exhibit my dance talents in it, my acting ability. It was my first, as I said, primetime Emmy nomination. And I'm still overjoyed that this was something that I got an opportunity to present, that now others can go back and look at and say, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Yeah.
How could
Right.
that be possible, that we could do that in this country? How could it be possible? And not allow it to happen again.
How funny, all these years later, it seems like we're saying those same words again and again, even recently in our lives. It's some things just stay the same. It's unbelievable when you think about it. But these stories are important and they're eye-opening and they get us to pause and rethink, which I think is essential. We need to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Another extraordinary film you were a part of is The Notebook. Tell
Ah,
us about this. I mean, again, you really from comedy to, live stage performances, Broadway, you really have picked wonderful things to be a part of, but these things have also picked you. And I know you're
yes.
big on that. These
Yes.
things come to you and they've picked you.
Yes. Yes. Yes, indeed. You know, I am, man, when you, again, I came to the project because a friend called me. He happened to be the director. And he said,
That's
"Oh,
what friends are for.
but what happened was he said, "Oh, but listen, man, uh, I'm directing this piece, and you know, there's a dance section in here, and it needs your hand on it, right?" And I said, "Okay." He said, "So I'm flying you out." So I went out just to really help out my buddy, right? And he says, "Hey, man." So I helped out in the choreography, what he needed me to do. And then he said, "Oh, but jump up on that stage." He says, "Wait a minute. Go to wardrobe and tell him to put you in some what." So I go to wardrobe. I said, "What's the period of the music?" So here was an opportunity for me to then pay a tribute to another great icon, right? And I jumped up on the stage and I said, they played the introduction. There was no lyrics, there was no music specifically. And I went, ooh bop, shabam, shabidly bop, yabba doo doo now. Whoa. Okay. And, Cab Calloway, I began to present myself as Cab would have done. Okay. And there it happened. And then I got an opportunity to spend time and watching the filming of this movie.
Mm,
And when I saw the end product, to this day, it touches me in a space in my life that I can't even find the words to describe, because we identified what everlasting love is, and is presented in this movie. Everlasting love. Someone who said, you know what? No matter come what may, I'm going to be here for this person that I love through some of the most difficult times. Again, an illness that has befallen so many. And again, we get an opportunity to see, don't judge me by the illness, judge me by the humanity. And that's what this movie does. Again, I was called, as you stated, perhaps to minister in my own way as being a part of it, but I'm thrilled, overjoyed that I was given the opportunity to be a part of one of
mm.
the finest films that is viewable today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You also had an opportunity to be in Black Dynamite as well.
Yes, I did. Micah Jai White called me up and he said, oh, listen, Oba, man, I got this idea of doing this sort of a spoof of these movies from the early late 60s and early 70s.
Yeah.
Would you mind? And I
Yeah.
said, sure, man. What do you want? What do you got me to do? And he told me all the other friends. And this was just really a passion piece where a bunch of friends got together to make this film.
Yeah.
And so Arsenio Hall, and
Center Hall, yeah.
yeah, and a lot of wonderful, wonderful Bokeem Woodbine, who also we'll talk about him a little later because he and I did life together, and you know, we came together to do this movie for Michael Jai White. And I carried this guy, put this guy's voice on him, and I said, "Look here, let me explain something to you. Now. I'm gonna talk to you like this, yeah."
That had a hint of Red Fox.
Listen, all of those guys, man, they were
Yeah.
influencers,
Yes.
great talented people. So yeah, we had a great time doing that. Yes, it was a lot of fun.
That is fantastic. Like I said, you've been in so many incredible productions that are, you know, they have stood the test of time. Another, John Q playing Sergeant Moody.
Yes, John Q. Now,
I wouldn't mess with that guy.
No. He was the head of the SWAT team,
Yes.
and I got a chance to learn a lot about these SWAT officers and the power and the way they put themselves on the line for the safety of humanity. And I garner a great deal of respect for each and every one of those men and women. And you know, it's like that character was wonderful. I got a chance to hang out with, and I'll tell you, envision this. I got a chance to hang out with Robert Duvall. Okay.
Yeah.
And every day, Robert, he loves Chinese food. So we shot that in Toronto. And he says, "Hey, Oba, come on. Let's go. I heard this great Chinese restaurant. Let's go to China." So we didn't have chance to change our wardrobe. So I would go dressed as the SWAT officer, which, as you saw in the picture, and he would be in his costume, right? And I would go in and I acted like I was his security. And I'd walk in and I'd say, "Excuse me, I need a table for Mr. Duvall." And and we would sit down. And now I'm going to give you something that is going to be great for your viewing audience. There's an anecdote. Mr. Duvall would always order Peking duck. Peking duck. Remember that. Because now when you go back and look at the film, he's in a scene with the great late Ray Liotta. And he says, for no apparent reason, Ray says, "Listen, you better get this thing together, and you better get it together fast." And Duvall looks at him and goes, "Yeah, Peking duck." And the reason for that is because one day Ray wanted to go with us and at the Chinese restaurant, and when Mr. Duvall ordered the Peking duck, he went, oh my God, you're gonna eat that? The head is on it, right?" And he goes, "Oh, but this guy don't like Peking duck." And so he put that line in the movie. So when you watch it, it's toward the end of the film, he just, for no apparent reason, just goes, "Yeah, Peking duck."
So the next time I'm at a Chinese restaurant and they hand me the menu and we order that, and the guy says, "Would you like that?" I'm going, "Yeah, Peking duck." And he's going to go, "Where'd you get that from?" "Well, Oba told me. Didn't you hear the story?"
Yes. He said, "No, I'm going to have Mr. Duvall's favorite dish,
Mr.
Peking
Duvall's
duck."
favorite dish. You were in Undercover Blues too.
Yes, that was another great opportunity with Dennis Quaid, the great Dennis Quaid, Kathleen Turner, and my friend Larry. I'm telling you, a great comedian. We had a great time. We shot that in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yes, we did. We had a wonderful, wonderful time down there in New Orleans. And it was really a special thing because Herb Ross was the director.
Yes.
And, you know, we shot part of this literally in the salt mines, which you had to go down into the salt mines. And there was the only thing that was nothing down there but industrial salt. Every day you would have to sign your name and they give you a coin. And the coin would have a number on it because God forbid if something should happen, you couldn't get back up. The only way they would identify that it was you was by the coin that they would find. It was a brass coin.
Wow.
Because the salt would just dissolve you. We had to go up and down. Can you imagine on this on an elevator that was only used to take equipment up and down?
Yeah.
Look at what some actors will do
To do.
to be in a film.
And to please the public.
Yes.
And to
Yes.
provide entertainment.
Exactly.
That's a cool story. That's a fantastic story. You were also in Shondaland, which was the legal drama on ABC too, huh?
Yes, 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 yes. Well, I enjoyed playing that character because I'm playing the mature, the more
Yeah.
mature attorney against
Yeah.
the young buck attorney. And so we had a lot of fun with that because I'm telling you, I really put it on him. And now my friend he's nominated for an Emmy. So
Yes.
you know, so that's great. You know, I mean, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience again. You know, and you know, we just as long as they keep lining them up, I'll try and keep knocking them down.
That sounds like a line that Gleason would have said with drinks in front of him. As long as they keep lining them up, I'll keep knocking them down. How sweet it is. That is funny. You mentioned life too. Tell us about that.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? Here we are now. When you want to talk about working with greats, there's not one person in that cast that could not by themselves carry a movie. They were just brilliant. Eddie and Martin, still friends to the day, really, really gave us an opportunity to exhibit some of our talents. Though many of the jokes were all ad libs.
Yeah.
The great Bernie Mac, jangle-leg, jangle-leg, jangle-leg. You know, I mean, Guy Torrey, Shabaka, you know, there's just the list goes on and on and on and on. And we just had the greatest time on that movie. And I would sincerely recommend that the viewers go back and watch this. It's promoted as a movie that picture indicates, but that movie is much deeper, much deeper. And you have some really exceptional talent. People don't they don't even realize that Rick James was in that film. They go,
right.
What? Rick James was in the movie? Yes. you know, I mean, there's a host of characters and actors that were really brilliant in that movie. And it's a wonderful story told well. And for my character, it's really special because I play both I narrate the film, but I'm also in it when the younger aspect of that character. So here I am. I'll give you a funny anecdote. I was in it in the age makeup, right? Which again, hats off to Rick Baker and that team. You know, Bill Corso was who did my makeup specifically. It was unbelievable. It was 8 hours in to get in that age makeup and 6 hours to get out with me helping. Okay, that doesn't count when I got to go on set and work.
Right.
But,
yeah.
So that's how much detail and genuine, you know, efforts were put into each one of those makeups. So now I'm in the van where we're going to the graveyard scene, and Heavy D is playing one of the actors, but he doesn't know I'm in an age makeup. He thinks I'm actually an older guy. So he gets out of the van. I'm sitting in the front. He gets out of the van. He opens the door for me, and he takes my arm, and he's helping me out of the van. And I said to him, "Get your hands off of me. What's wrong with you?" He said, "Oh no, sir. I'm just trying to help you." I said, "I don't need your help. Do I look like I need your help? What's wrong with you? You look like you need my help, Fat D." He said, "No, sir. Not Fat D, Heavy D." I said, "Yeah, I know they call you a heavy because you fat. That's what's wrong with you." So we do the whole scene. And then he finds out I'm in a makeup. And he said, Mr. Babatunde, he said, brother, I had no idea. I need to come and study with you because if
Yes.
you could fool me, to Eddie and Martin's credit, I was able to get a lot of interviews because they were focusing on them, rightfully so, because of their celebrity. But they would each individually say, you know, you need to talk to OBBA because
Yeah.
we know OBBA.
Yes.
And what you're seeing in that old guy,
Yeah.
we can't even tell it's OBBA, and we know it. And Eddie said, and it's actually freaking me out a little bit. You know, I mean, you know.
That's so
So, you
incredible.
know, it's a great film, and I'm so happy that I was a part of it, to be among those great cast members.
Daytime Emmy winner, Bold and the Beautiful. Yes. And, I've seen you in all these things, including Bold and the Beautiful. What's it like, being involved in daytime drama, the soaps? It's a whole other world. And we've had several soap stars pop through. The amount of script that you have to sort of memorize is extraordinary. Congratulations, of course, on the Emmy. What was it like, being a part of
You
that
know what?
cast?
Thank you so much for bringing this up. It was a very special opportunity for me. And I'll tell you why. Well, I returned. I hadn't done soaps in years. As you well know, I did All My Children in
That's
the
right.
80s. And then I hadn't done soaps for a while. And CBS was kind enough on Bold and the Beautiful to ask me, along with Anna, to play this character. And it's turned out to be something very special, and here's why. For a lot of reasons, but here's one of the reasons. That gentleman there plays the dad of a transgender child. And the way the character was initially scripted, I wanted to give it a bit of a different take. And to the credit of all of the writers and the staff there, they said, and when I explained to them what I thought was important for me to do, they agreed and they allowed me to bring to fore. And one of the great moments was after I had gotten the Emmy and this character was now a mainstay, I met someone who was transgender who said to me, I want to thank you for portraying the character the way you did, because I did not know what my father was going through with my decision. And because of seeing you portray that character, I was able to go back and reconnect with my father. And we have a wonderful relationship now, because I was able to identify what it was that was happening that was outside of my decision. But I was able to see something other than just my choice,
Right.
but how I affected change in someone else's life, it being my family, my father in particular. So thank you. So here we have another opportunity. I guess going back to your idea of ministry in a certain way, in bringing forth one's humanity and what it is that we go through in this journey called life.
It is incredible. I think you've also been learning about yourself and elements of yourself and bringing out these beautiful parts of yourself through all of this work as well. You have grown as not only a fabulous, as JJ would say on Good Times, artiste and a dynamite artiste. But you have also grown as a human being through these roles, through these opportunities, through these gifts that have come your way,
Yes.
which is extraordinary. And I think you've been very aware of that, which I think is a beautiful thing, huh?
Yes, it has. And that's the joy, is that, like I said earlier in the show, it's not how long you've been living, but how long you've been paying attention. And so I'm paying attention. I really am paying attention because I want to get it right. I tell people, I say, I play life like a musician. I practice every day to play it a little better. And sometimes I play it better than other times, but I keep practicing.
Yes, you do. And you have a good time with it. You're a happy soul and a happy spirit on many levels, my friend. And I think that's so infectious. People really get it. They really gravitate to it. And that's why the phone keeps ringing and these roles keep coming your way and these opportunities keep coming your way, like your extraordinary involvement in SWAT on CBS. Tell us about
Yes.
that.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, I'm having the time of my life over there. You
Yes.
know, um,
You're
Shamar and
playing
I have
Shamar's dad.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, we've actually become, I mean, I'm his pops now, you know what I
Yes.
mean? And so, he's a great guy, and we have a lot of fun, and we've grown very close, you know, uh, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, it is. Yeah. That role is quite a role, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because again, it's an interesting thing, because what we identify is that Pops was a former Panther, a former
That's
Black Panther. So for his son to now become the head of a SWAT team, wow, look at the conflict that they might have. But what we've developed, Shamar and I, is that sometimes he's parental, the parent, and sometimes I'm the parent. So we go back and forth. The
yeah.
character has gone through a maturation throughout time of them coming together. In other words, I had an illness. The character had an illness. And we watched how family supported him through this cancer. And he's now cancer free.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's so much. We identify family. When my character had left the nest of his mother, and my the character that plays my older daughter, and what that did to that family, and how that family is now coming back together based on growth and development. Not, well, you were out, you ain't nothing, you ain't no good. You see, there's many levels, many levels.
There are. And when you really take the time to realize that, it's extraordinary. And another incredible series that has touched upon many levels is this one here, Dear White People. Tell us about being
Oh,
involved
yes,
in this one.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
like I
I
said,
mean,
you have your hands and feet in everything.
indeed,
I think
indeed.
we need you to run for office, get a few things done.
You know, the thing I loved about the show is that people might be misled by the title
The
of the
title,
show.
right?
Dear
Sure.
White People. Well, what does that mean? Well, is it a comedy? People would say, is it
Yeah.
a comedy? I go, no, it's not. It's not a comedy. And so they go, what is it about? I said, well, see, it was based on a college, a group of college kids. I play the dean of the school. I'm the first dean ever. I also went to the school when it was this purely Ivy League college, and no blacks, very few had attended. So to come back as the dean of this college is something special, as well as my son being one who is that on the show, who is the first black president of the school. So it's a lot of things, but it was a radio show that was called Dear White People
That's
on the
right.
campus, and what they would do was, it was like, so today Jerome was having his lunch on the wall and ended up face down because they didn't believe he went to the school. So it was a means of being able to show this racial divide. But the person that was doing it, what they didn't realize, she's biracial. And she was in a biracial relationship. So we begin to identify how these paths cross. And we begin to understand that we can see each other in each other, that there is more, that we are alike in more ways than we are different when we deal with our humanity.
That's right.
Our humanity.
That's right.
So that's what and the fourth episode, the final season, you really you can binge watch it, but the fourth season is really something powerful because it's presented as a musical. Now I'm not going to tell you any more than that because those who haven't seen it,
check
I
it
want you to
out.
see
Right.
And I even get a chance to get a little musicality in there. So
that is cool.
Yes.
That is cool. Another one too is Goliath.
Oh, yes. Oh, man. There it is. Our choreographer, Fred, received an Emmy nomination for the musical number for Goliath. And I'm not sure, but I think it is the first time that Goliath was nominated for certainly an Emmy in choreography. So here it is. I got a chance to work with the great. This gentleman, JK is the kind of guy, certainly an Academy Award winner. You know, Mr. Simmons is the kind of dude that just you want to be around. And we got a chance to do this number together with a host of other wonderful dancers. And in doing so, we exhibited things that had not been seen, I don't think, of recent times. And so I really, I'm telling you, when you get me and put on a pair of dancing shoes with OBBA BABATUNDÉ, you better be ready because what we say, 5, 6, 7, 8, pow, pow, pow.
That's it.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for Fred. I'm thrilled. I got a chance to work with Billy Bob Thornton, another gentleman, was wonderful on the set. And it just, J.K. Simmons and we just got a chance to just really do something and put some work down. And I'm glad it's being recognized.
Another one too is Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh, yes. Now you want to talk about a great production.
Yes.
That if you have not seen it yet, do not miss out on it, because I am telling you, that story is told in a way that really shows depth. And I got a chance. Now, we didn't have scenes together, but I got a chance to be reunited with one of the cast members from years ago when I did Dawson's Creek.
That's right, Dawson's Creek.
So I'm telling you, I mean, it just keeps what keeps coming back to us is an opportunity where you run back into friends that you have worked with, in the past. And so I'm always happy when that happens.
One of our viewers said you were also awesome in the role on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's
we
right.
actually have Daphne Maxwell-Reid is joining us on Tuesday.
Oh, wonderful.
She's amazing. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Well, that was a fun thing. How that came about was, and again, I say this with great humility and appreciativeness. They needed, then situation comedies where an episode took a week to shoot, but they had a short period of time and they had to shoot one episode in one day that dovetailed into the second episode. And they called me in. And of course, if you call me in, here I come. And we were able to do that. And it was really a great time. I played this character named Gordy Berry, which was based on Berry Gordy, who I later portrayed in the movie The Temptations.
That's right.
Mr. Gordy and I now, we have a running joke whenever we run into each other. He says, "Oh my goodness, it's Berry Gordy." But he was very gracious and always is every time I get an opportunity to see him. And I'm honored if you get a chance to portray someone who is a living being and they say to you, "Hey, you did a good job," and they appreciate what you've done. then that makes me feel exceptionally special.
You know, you've also voiced a lot in so many things that people don't realize. You've had an opportunity to voice a lot of cool characters too
Yes,
in
yes,
the
yes,
animation
yes.
world. Tell us about
In-
that.
Well, you know what? I used to do a bunch of voiceovers when I was in New York, and then I came out to California, and my voiceover agent said, oh, "Listen, Oba, you've got this recognizable voice." And I said, "Well, I can do other voices as well." And he says, "Well, we're going to send you in on some of these characters." Now, one of the things which was really fun was I'm trying to think of the name of this one character that I did, and um, they created a figurine for him. And
Oh,
my
wow.
son at the time, who was in kindergarten, I got a bunch of them, and they would, give each other like grab bags. And so I put all of these figurines in his to give to his classmates, and and they go, "What's this?" And he goes, "That's my dad." And they go, "Your dad is really old," because the character was like a really old guy. He goes, "No, he's not. He just plays the voice of that character." So yeah, no, I played doing a lot of voiceover work. I even for the last, like, I guess it's almost 7 years. Whenever you hear Lando Calrissian's voice, which was played by the great Billy D. Williams, who I had the
Yes.
opportunity to work with, and he played my dad in a movie that we did together. But um, I do all of that voice for all the game work. So they called
Yes.
me and they said, "Hey, listen, man, we need you to do that." I said, "Don't you worry about a thing, man. Don't you worry. I can be just like Billy D. Williams." So you just made me in front of that microphone. And come on, you rookies, let's get going, baby.
Oh, Rico Suave there.
Yeah,
I
that's the
love that.
man, Billy D. Williams.
He was really, I tell you, the best on so many different levels. Look at this shot.
Oh, that's it. There he is.
Yeah.
That
Huh?
was that was in That Thing You Do. And as I
Yes.
mentioned, uh, Mr. Hanks was kind enough. After we had worked together in Philadelphia, he called me in his office and he said, "Oh, but listen, man." He says, I have this character that I've written into this movie and that I'm going to direct. And he reminds me of someone from my childhood. I think you could bring this character to life. And I said, "Hey, fantastic. We we did the deal on a handshake, and here it is, Lamar from That Thing You Do."
Mm, yeah, it's fantastic. Really fantastic. And a lot of people commenting about it as well. And look at this shot.
Oh yes, yes. That's still from SWAT. Yes,
Yes. That's a
yes.
cool
That's
one.
from SWAT.
And
That
also
was
how high.
and how high.
That's
Now I
another.
know there's a lot of people out there that love this character. That's Dean Cain. And I
Yes.
always tell people, I said, I was fine till they gave me them brownies. Yes. Oh boy, did we have a good time. And there, look at this. There was a part in the movie where they wanted me, the character has to dance. So they had a guy they brought in for a dance double. And I said, well, what's he going to do? They said, well, the character's got to dance. And I said, and they
Yeah.
said, well, do you dance? I
Yeah.
said, 5, 6, 7, 8. DJ, hit me! Boom, 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 boom. And I went to work, and there it is on camera.
Something else. I tell you, you really are something else. I tell you. It's fantastic, really. It's and somebody else too that is actually going to be a guest on our show in just about 2-3 weeks. We really haven't even announced it yet,
Huh.
but when I saw this photo, I said we've got to show it because you two together look like $1,000,000, and she's another fantastic, gracious soul and legend, Florence LaRue.
Oh yes.
She's coming on the show in a
And
couple
actually,
weeks.
that picture, I'm so glad you got that. I got
Yes.
that picture is with me. I performed for her at a birthday party. She had a birthday celebration, and I was invited and I sang to her. Yes.
You remember what you sang?
Uh, yes. I sang, You Are Too Beautiful. And I sang it a cappella too. I
Oh,
said, You are
yeah.
too beautiful, my dear, to be true, for one lonely heart to be with, while there are other men with eyes of their own to see with. Love does not stand sharing, not if one cares. Could you be comparing my every kiss with theirs? If on the other hand I'm faithful to you, it's not due to a sense of duty. You are too beautiful, and I am a fool for beauty.
Wow. That is incredible. And she melted after that, I'm sure.
And then we took that picture.
And the picture, yeah, grab it now while everybody's glowing after that. Yeah. She's going to be with us in just a couple of weeks. She's another music legend and so much more. So I said I had to, that's such a great shot of the two of you. And there's so much joy in that photo. There's a lot of joy in
Yeah.
this photo too. Tell us about this one.
Oh, right. Well, there's Lawrence Fishburne again. And this was a special, it says, this is gentleman's name. He is really an underserved icon. He really, really deserves to be recognized, you know, because he came on the scene as a young actor, and he and his brothers put this radio show together.
Wow.
And the radio show really is exemplary. And I would have everybody to check it out because, you know, back in the days of radio, you know, you had to tell the story in a way that people could see what it was that you were saying. So it had to all be in the voice. It all
Yes.
had to be in the way you put his voice. And Lorenz Tate and his brothers actually were able to do that. So they wrote it, and he is a dynamite talent. And he and his brothers, like I said, the Tate family, they're wonderful guys. And Lorenz, who's in that picture that you showed, really deserves a great deal of recognition and credit.
Mm. What a kind thing to say about somebody, and you know, a beautiful photo as well. But what a kind thing to say. Um, Really, I'd say it just shows the spirit of who you are. It's another one of the voice characters that you voice.
Oh my goodness. Where did you find that one?
I
Look at
tell
that.
you,
Yes,
I tell you, I do my research. We dig, we
you
dig.
certainly
We like
do.
we like to tell the full story. I love this shot too, my friend.
Oh, yes. That is from Sammy. That's at the Old Globe. Yes, that's
This is
from
when you're
Sammy.
really paying tribute to him, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed. That
that's
was
fantastic.
that song was what opened the show, and it's called "Once in a Lifetime."
Yeah.
Just once in a lifetime, a man knows a moment, one wonderful moment when fate takes his hand. And this is my moment, my destiny calls me. And though it may be just once in a lifetime, I'm gonna do great things. Wow,
Wow.
that's without even warming up.
Oh, I think we shattered a couple of windows in here. That is fantastic. That is really. Are you still doing that show? Is that still something that's
Well,
happening?
we're hoping that it will be revived and
Oh
that
yeah.
we'll one day take it to Broadway.
Oh, that's fantastic. Stay in touch with me on all these things
I
and keep
certainly
me
will.
posted on everything. You're welcome back anytime. And I hope we
Thank you so
definitely
much.
stay in touch beyond today's episode because I'd love to continue to share this glory that you're experiencing. One of the other things I just got to mention that you do, because I don't often think that sometimes people realize when they see people on stage, they see them in the movies, they see them on television, the things that they do when they're off screen to give back. This is one of those things in New York involving the arts. Get Empowered that you're
Oh,
involved in,
yes.
giving back as you do. Tell us about this.
Well, this is a wonderful organization, Get Empowered. And Emmy, who is in charge of this program, really is been working so hard to make sure that children get an opportunity to feel and recognize their power. And I'm just so honored that she has afforded me, to really be a part of it. We go all over the country, and we go into schools. And Emmy Gittleman is a non-stop force. Please, everyone, check out Get Empowered. They'll come to your school, they'll work with your children, and the stories that come out of that, of where we see the voices of these children who get an opportunity to, from that visitation that we're there with them, what they feel. And it also serves the teachers who have been forgotten and who work so hard to make sure that these children are protected and given a voice, instilling in them a sense of pride, a sense of commitment, of an understanding of that they matter. So Get Empowered, great organization, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Emmy Gittleman deserves a huge, huge round of applause because she carries this on her shoulders like a champion. And there's music, and the musicians are from all over the world. All over the world, from Brazil, from Cuba, from China, from Japan. And they bring these artists into these schools and get them to see themselves and to see what the world looks like. And that's great. And that's great.
Isn't that incredible? It's so inspiring. And we saw that and I said, we have to show that because that's giving back in ways that, people might not realize you're doing. And there you are, right there with the kids and having a ball, and you're just basically a kid yourself with them,
Yes.
huh?
Yes. Yes. Indeed. Indeed.
Speaking of being a kid, what would the OBBA of today say to this young gentleman of then?
Ah, there I am. That's my high school picture.
Yes, it is. You look the same.
Hey. Oh man, hi boy. Look at
There
you.
you are in New York City. Lots of hopes and dreams in those eyes.
Yes.
What would you say to him today, with all the experiences and wit and wisdom you've gathered in life now?
I would tell him, never quit. Never quit. Because nothing is impossible. Trust and believe that it is possible. Give it the full measure of your devotion. I'll say that again. Give your desires the full measure of your devotion and watch what happens. Watch what happens.
Yeah.
Because if my life, and I say this to your audience and I share it with you, my friend Jim, for all that you're doing for so many, we thank you, sir. Sincerely.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And to your audience, I ask you to please continue to support Jim. He cares about us. He cares about you. Continue to support the work that he's doing because it's valuable It's very, very, very important. He gives us an opening for hope. For hope. In a time when things can seem so hopeless, he gives us a time for hope. If I, in my career and my life, can be any example to anyone, let it be known that I gave it and continue to give it my all. Do the same. At least one thing a day. At least one thing a day toward what it is that you want to accomplish. First, decide what it is that you want to accomplish. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be an ending. It can simply be one thing that you want to accomplish, and then every single day do at least one thing toward that. And I sit here and I tell you, and I guarantee it, it will manifest itself. It will manifest itself. The power lies within you. They cannot take from you what they did not give to you. Your gifts, your abilities, your talents, and every single person in the sound of my voice, you have a talent, at least one. I'm sure even more. That talent was given to you by the master. It's yours. And to the degree that you develop it, the degree that you put yourself into it, it will grow. Trust and believe in that. If my career and life has been any example of that, I'm no more special than anybody that's hearing this now. But I trust and I believe in the master and in me. And as I said to my friend Jim before we came on the air, I see myself as a pebble that is launched into a still body of water. It makes the tiniest little sound going in and the tiniest little ripple. But what happens to that ripple is it goes out, and it goes out in every direction. And nothing can stop it. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And even if it should come to an obstacle, it goes along that obstacle until it finds an opening. So it will always come to shore. Nothing you do will be wasted. I can guarantee you that. I am a living example of that. So please,
Sure yeah,
please trust it. Believe it. Know the power is within you. And you know what's right for you. If you say you can, you're correct. If you say you can't, you are also correct. So be mindful of what you say, because what you say is true for you. What you say is true for you.
That's right. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And if you want the Peking duck, order it. Never stand behind the horse.
Gems of life to live by.
You know, we have somebody who pops in towards the latter part of the show. He came on when we did a nostalgic episode, classic TV shows and movies, childhood memories. And he pops on. He's usually down here sipping his martini and all with a cigar. Mr. George Burns is with us.
Oh, my goodness.
There he is.
Yes. I love George Burns.
He's got a cigar and his red pocket square. He's always dapper. And he said, "You absolutely knocked it out of the park, kiddo." He absolutely loved the conversation. He was inspired. He was energized. And he sends you his love and his admiration and respect from one cool cat to another. He just was mesmerized by this conversation, and he loves it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Burns. And please tell Gracie I send my best.
Absolutely. And you've got God on your side because he played God in the movies, remember? Oh,
That's
God.
right. That's right.
My aunt collected dolls, one of my mother's sisters, and I mean, a lot of collectible dolls. And this particular one, I think it when he turned 99 or 100. And she made sure she got it, and it got passed down to me. So puts a smile on people's faces towards the latter part. And there he is. And
There he is.
he said, you knocked it out of the park.
Thank you so much, George.
I tell you, this was really an epic. Like I say, we don't call these interviews, we call these conversations. And I just want to show you a few of the comments that the Lovity audience is saying here. Maureen in Arizona says, your words, oh, my eyes are leaking. God bless you over and over, sir. And Uniclaire Mayanne says, such a great time being here again and listening to you both, plus the fun and good vibes OBBA brings. Absolutely. And Kathleen in New York City, your old stopping grounds. She's in Queens, New York, actually. That's where she's from. OBBA, you are wonderful. So inspiration. What a beautiful soul. Bless you always. Thank you for being here. Merlin says, cheers, OBBA. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. We love all these great comments coming in from our lovities here. And this is a great one, too, from Christina, North Carolina. Fabulous conversation with OBBA. I've enjoyed everything about his time with us. OBBA is so entertaining and inspirational. Just a joy to learn more of his epic career. OBBA is a talented lovity. Absolutely. You're a man of wisdom. Hey, Jim, have him back, please. Your wish is my command. We love all of this. You guys are the best. So everybody watching live and those who will watch later in the archives, you are such fun. Absolutely. You are the consummate entertainer and a phenomenal spirit and a phenomenal soul on so many different levels. Again, you know, that I love this photo because it just represents you on so many different levels, the joy that you're experiencing and sharing with others. You're in the light, but you're sharing the light with others and inspiring people along the way through your art and through what you do, my friend. What are some things that you're excited about? We mentioned Liza. Maybe you want to remind us about that and other things you're working on that you would love to share with our audience.
Well, you know, thank you so much for tonight. It was an absolute joy. Thank you to your audience. I am always opening myself up to new projects from time to time, and you should check in your area. Sometimes I come and I teach a master class, but I don't just teach it to actors.
Right.
I teach it to all people, period, because like it's usually a 3-hour setup for 3 hours, and then at 4.5 hours, people still are not leaving. They're like, wait a minute, we need more of this. We're not getting this. So if you hear about,
because they say 5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8, baby. You know, I have, as I said, you know, with SWAT, we're back for our 6th season. You know, and Pops is going to be there, taking care of business, taking care of the family business.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have a new film that will soon be released. There's also one that's on. It's an interesting, a different character for me, but it's interesting because the name of it is The Men in My Life, and the Rochelle is playing my daughter-in-law, my prospective daughter-in-law on SWAT. But we had worked together on another show, and she had a movie that was about her life, and she asked what if I would play her father. And it's a very different character than I've normally played. This character is, her father was stricken with drug addiction. And I told her, I said, well, my intent is to make the drug the enemy, not your dad. And I said, so look behind the eyes and you'll see something else. And I think and that's on Amazon Prime now. You know, it's called The Men in My Life. That's what she called it. And I'm going to be doing a new project with some friends, the Cowboys. And watch out for that, because it's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And but you never can tell where I'm going to show up. Obviously, as you've seen from this career, I just keep right on going, and I'm going to continue to spread the love everywhere I go. I'm still adding to that
That's
pearls,
right.
the multiple pearls, because that string of pearls is the career. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, please remember that what I said earlier, that they cannot take from you what they did not give to you.
That's
Hold
so
on to
right.
that. Hold
That's
on to
right.
that, because that's
Yeah,
yours. All right, Jim. I
absolutely.
cannot thank you enough for the in-depth work that you do, and for giving me the opportunity to come on and meet so many wonderful people that now know a little bit more about me. Um, I'm an. Can I be an honorary lovely?
You are already a lovely. They said that you're a lovely as soon as we started the show, when you started singing "What the World Needs Now Is Love,
Yes.
Sweet Love." There's Oscars. I say this to everybody: Oscars, Peabodys, Grammys, Tonys, Emmys, Tellys. But then there's a lovely on the Jim Masters Show live. Are your feet tingling right about now? How do you feel?
5, 6, 7, 8.
That's it. I'll take the Peking duck.
That's right.
That is amazing. You're amazing. This was really a blessing, and very excited and honored to have you stopping by. And like I said, we call these conversations almost Cavett Carson style. And you've been nothing but exemplary, expressive, fun, a joy, a delight, open, real, authentic. And I really hope we get a chance to break bread at some point when you're back here on the East Coast or if
I
I'm on the
look
West,
forward to
whatever it may
that.
be. Let's definitely stay in touch. Spread the word to others you think might like to stop by the Jim Master Show Live and experience
I
what we
will.
do here. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, my friend. And you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Oba.
I absolutely enjoyed it immensely. And you and I talked about this earlier, and you said, I said that people know what's genuine. You can't fake it, and they know you're genuine. And I hope they understand and believe that I'm the same. I thank
Absolutely
you.
right.
I thank each and every one of you. God bless you, and take good care of yourselves. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you know, keep smiling. Keep smiling.
absolutely.
Let
Absolutely.
your light shine, because your light is important.
As my dad has always said, my Irish dad, originally from New York City, he always told me, even when I was a kid, whenever anybody says something nice or kind to you, Jim, ask them to please put it in writing and address it management. Makes sense.
I love you, Dad. That's great, baby.
That's it. That's it. A little of Jim Sr. rubbed off on Jim Jr. for sure.
I love it, baby. I love it.
You're the best. High five. Thanks, my friend. You are really awesome. It's the reason why your phone rings all the time. People want your energy. They love the vibe. They love what you're giving off, and you're extraordinary. So you keep up everything you're doing. Enjoy the ride as you do. Crystal says, we love you. Oh, but
Well,
absolutely. And brilliant. And cheers. Keep up the good work. And you are wonderful. So inspirational. What a beautiful soul. Bless you always. Thank you for being here. Such a great time here again and listening to you both. Plus the fun and good vibes. Gang, you guys are the best. You enjoy the horses there at the ranch in Nevada. And we'll see you again soon, my friend. This was quite an epic conversation.
I'll see you soon. Jim, thank you so very much.
You're very welcome, my friend. You take care, okay?
All right. Bye now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Is he not amazing or what, gang? Wow, I tell you. You got a chance to learn a little bit more about somebody that, has been a part of our lives for quite a few years on stage, on television, in movies. I mean, this guy does it all. And I say he always has reminded me of a Sammy Davis Jr. just because I know he mentioned earlier that Sammy was somebody that really inspired him. He was like a mentor. And he set himself out early in his life to go out and do it all, to dance and play an instrument and write poetry, even doing sign language as well. And he taught himself sign language. He taught himself how to do sign language, which is extraordinary. As I mentioned, epic amounts of products that he has presented for all of us. We really just scratched the surface. We could have gone longer, but he's got to have a sandwich. So do I. No, we had a lot of laughs. If you're just joining us now, gang, make sure you watch this because we had a lot of laughs, as we always do on this show. But he's extraordinary, award-winning, an Emmy Award-winning The Bold and the Beautiful, Tony-nominated Broadway production of Dreamgirls, actor, producer, director, currently starring again in the CBS hit action drama SWAT. He's also in the Netflix Dear White People, the final season of Amazon Prime's Goliath. He's also known as the Horse Whisperer. And again, he will be featured on the upcoming release of Liza Minnelli Live in New York, 1979, the deluxe vinyl set on 2 LPs and an ultimate edition on 3 CDs. And he mentioned to us here so lovingly his friendship that goes back to 1979 with the one and only Liza Minnelli. Yeah, I tell you, OBBA BABATUNDÉ is an extraordinary person. And you guys were asking about his name. Well, there's a little background to the name, which is kind of cool. Babatunde means father returns. And Oba is actually representative of an ancient region and town in Africa. It's really a spectacular name that he has, but he's made a name for himself over the years as well in all of these extraordinary roles that he's taken on, from a vocalist to a dancer, actor, producer, writer. And that's why he's a beloved American treasure, if not international treasure. And I believe in giving props to people who have earned it. And he certainly is somebody. I mean, you've seen him on your screens and stages for years in so many shows, productions. He's really a part of Americana, the movie Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Jensen Robards and Miss Evers Boys. Remember that he mentioned that was the very first Emmy nomination. He voices all of these animated characters too. These are just a few of them. I mean, there's many, many more. Here's when he's playing Sammy. We didn't show this picture earlier, but that's a cool shot as well. And, he's getting in there and paying it forward on many different levels. This is Friends, which we showed earlier, Undercover Blues, Timbuktu with Eartha Kitt, Life, and even in Silence of the Lambs and The Notebook. And it just goes on and on. These are just, again, a few. Dreamgirls too. He had such a wonderful story and behind the scenes story about Dreamgirls. Soap operas, All My Children. This is from The Bold and the Beautiful on CBS, where he got the Daytime Emmy Award. Yeah. Dear White People as well. Another great series. He's just something else, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Little Fires Everywhere. He's in that. Goliath, SWAT. This is a great moment with Shamar Moore, where they're having a on-set laugh. He plays his pops in the series. Check it out. It's on CBS. It's going into season 6. SWAT. Check it out. And now you've learned a little bit more about the man behind decades worth of entertainment. They do describe him as one of the most recognizable faces in all of entertainment. I think he and Lucille Ball, if you didn't see the episode when Lucy Arnaz was on the show. Check that out as well. Melba Moore, too, Timbuktu. Melba Moore was on our show recently, and I did mention, because he did have a part on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Exciting news, which we've mentioned previously, but in case you missed it, we're very excited that Daphne Maxwell Reid will be on the Jim Masters Show Live, and she played Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Legendary actress, comedian, and model. She's going to be with us on Tuesday. Yeah, I'm going to let her know that OBBA was with us tonight. Oh boy, we've got a lot of music for you tomorrow with a legend, acclaimed Latin percussionist, songwriter, producer, recording artist Chili Willy Groove is here. Lots of great music and conversation. Then we have acclaimed Broadway vocalist, film and television actress Elizabeth Ward Land is going to be with us. That's a phenomenal show. Monday from Hell's Kitchen. Yes, you know Gordon Ramsay, of course, the chef who created the Hell's Kitchen series. Well, she was on Hell's Kitchen, Chef Josie Clemens. She also is the co-creator. She's a celebrity judge as well on the all-star brand new vegan cooking competition television series called Peeled that is debuting this September. That's right. And she is going to be a guest on our show on Monday. And we're all excited about it. Take a look at our YouTube channel, scroll along, look at all the guests that have been on our show and all the guests that are coming on our show as well. We're very excited, working really hard behind the scenes to present quality programming, quality broadcast, quality entertainment for all of you to entertain, inspire, make you laugh, make you think, educate, and all the rest, whatever we can create for all of you content-wise, episode-wise. We've been working hard with all these episodes, almost 800 episodes the last 2 years, day in and day out. Epic conversations, not just little 10-minute fillers, not just little 20-minute things talking about the movie, the CD, and the book. Really good conversations that stick with you. He's a class act, OBBA, and an honor to have him here on the show tonight. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment for us on the YouTube channel. Drop a comment before you take off right underneath this episode. To those of you who have been doing that, we thank you so very much. That really helps us grow and expand what we're doing here. Give this episode a thumbs up like. That helps us expand. That helps our show grow exponentially. When you click the thumbs up icon on our YouTube channel, you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, which costs nothing, and you leave a comment. Let us know how much you enjoy these episodes of the Jim Masters Show series. That really means a lot to us, and we appreciate it, but it also helps this show grow. YouTube sees that, and they take these episodes and they expand them out further when you click thumbs up, when you subscribe, which costs nothing. Just click that red subscribe button, and we leave a comment for us too. I know we say it during each episode, but it's really important, and it really does help us. And a lot of you always ask, what can we do to help? We love the show so much. We love what you're doing. We love all the hard work. And what can we do? You can always do a super chat, super emoji, super sticker during the show, or a super thanks. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, Jim Masters TV. And Kathleen just did a super chat. Thank you very much. She says, what a great show. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. In a beautiful blue color there. That's really nice, Kathleen, supporting our show with the super chat. That helps our show as well. And earlier, Maureen Wiedepol was very generous with her support and believes in what we're doing here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. And she also did a beautiful super chat in that nice, bold green color. She says, OBBA, you are such an inspiration. You make me want to be a better person. Thank you for being a true definition of levity. And thank you for existing. And OBBA sees that right now. He's in the little queue window down there. We usually chat after the shows. Thank you, Maureen. That's very generous. That's what super chat and super stickers, super emojis looks like. You can do that when the shows are live. If you ever miss an opportunity to help support our series when the shows are live, you can still do it, because on our YouTube channel, on every episode, there's a little heart icon that says super thanks. And you can click on that, and then it helps support our series as well. So thank you to Maureen and Kathleen and everybody here. We really appreciate your generosity, and also watching, leaving comments, telling us, what you're enjoying about these series. And Kathleen says, you never give us a bad show. Such a variety of guests. This is a special place. Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate that. What makes it more special is you guys are here watching all the time. Appreciate those kind words. Crystal, you as well. And Pam, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you here. We love it. And Uniclaire, thank you very much as well. Nice to have you here. And everybody from wherever you're watching around the world, we thank you very much. Christine Clifton in North Carolina, thank you very much. Good night, Jim and lovely friends. This was quite a show. Epic conversation. Thank you, Christine. Hope all of you are doing well. We love you, Oba. This was awesome. Such a humble man. Yeah, he really is, I tell you. If you missed this episode or you just want to watch it again, brilliant. Thank you very much. And just want to see it again, you can see it again right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, because we archive all the episodes for you, gang. So we do not say goodbye. As you guys know, we say see you later. Cheers. Ciao. Hasta la vista. Avida Zane. Sayonara. Moilu. Take care. Be well. And again, Florence LaRue, there he is. Florence LaRue, of course, you know, from The Fifth Dimension and so much more. Great picture of Oba and Florence LaRue. Florence LaRue is going to be a guest on the Jim Masters show. This music legend is going to be a guest on our show in just a few weeks. So stay tuned for that. We're very excited about that. And again, there he is getting the Emmy as well. Well-deserved Emmy. OBBA BABATUNDÉ. I tell you, really cool stuff. All right, gang. So if you enjoyed the show, let us know. Don't keep it a secret. Tell everybody about the Jim Masters Show Live. Share the links on your social media. You know, there's a share button on all the episodes on our YouTube channel. You just hit share and you can direct it to any of your social media, spreading the word, letting folks know about our series, and leave a comment for us as well. That's a good shot there too from Miss Evers. Boys, he had some great stories, and this was from Philadelphia. Good stuff, really, really good stuff. And there he is when he played Harold Nichols, the Nichols brothers, and he had a great story. He talked about working with Holly Berry, HBO original introducing Dorothy Dandridge. She was in that as well, and just so many incredible things. And maybe you didn't even know he had this love for horses as well, which he's had for a long time. So that's where he is. Usually he's in LA. He's from the East Coast. He's from New York City originally, from Jamaica, Queens, and is out in California. And he told me that as soon as he wraps what he's doing with on the ranch there in Nevada, he's in northern Nevada right now with the horses. He's going to head back out to LA because they're going to start shooting the 6th season of SWAT on CBS. So cool stuff. All right, gang, take care. We love you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for sharing and celebrating what we're doing here for all of you on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series. Always a pleasure to have you guys with us. We always have a good time. And it's the real deal here. Authenticity and laughs and lots of famous levity. So thanks for watching the Jim Masters Show Live, wherever you're watching around the world, whatever time of the day it is. And don't forget, you can binge watch almost 800 episodes. You'll have to kick back and make a pot of coffee if you're going to watch all of them one after the other, because there's a lot of shows we've done. But you guys are great. All right. We're going to kick out of here. We got another popsicle waiting for us. We sure do. It's summertime here, so going to cool off a little bit. Take care, be well, and be good to one another. Take care of one another. Be good to yourself. Some inspiring conversation, ministerial in a way, with OBBA here on the show today. And OBBA that's just the way he is. And I get it. I'm a kindred spirit in that way of thinking. So whatever inspiration and fun you got out of this episode, hopefully it was something that you'll take with us throughout the rest of your day and the rest of your night. All right. That's a wrap. I have nothing left to say other than thanks for watching. You guys be well. I'll see you again soon, okay? Love you all. Cheers.